So the McGill Society is going to be 4 years old in September. Uh, what has it meant to Georgia athletics, do you think?
I think the main thing is it's been a great opportunity for us to expand and enhance our facilities. We've been able to improve the facilities for multiple programs: football, women's soccer, golf, to name a few. We're in the process of building a facility for the equestrian program and upgrading some facilities for the tennis programs as well. So the main thing is it's really been the opportunity to enhance and expand facilities.
What is the appeal, do you think, for football season ticket holders to increase contributions to McGill?
Well, first off, they have the opportunity to help with the program. Obviously, there are needs we have as a program to compete with our peers. Everybody sees what people are doing across the country. The facilities we had a few years ago, they weren't up to par with what our peers were doing. I think with the McGill Society and the things that we've done in the past few years, we've made unbelievable strides and have some of the best facilities in the country at this point. So the ability to help with that is first and foremost. We want it to be a philanthropic gift and just want them to have put that passion for Georgia athletics into a commitment if they're able to do that. So that's first and foremost, in my opinion. And secondly, we're able to provide bonus points in the McGill Society for those gifts. So we're able to provide some opportunities for them to improve their seating in Sanford Stadium when available, but also the ability to secure away game tickets, playoff tickets, SEC championship game tickets. So there is a benefit there as well.
Kirby Smart has, I guess, had a personal touch on this in terms of engaging with McGill Society members. Can you speak to his involvement in your efforts to fundraise for facilities?
He's wonderful. I mean, he is a great representation of UGA athletics, the state of Georgia, and our athletic department. He's willing to help any way that we ask him to. He'll sit down and have one-on-one visit with donors when necessary. He'll attend events that we put on. And he just brings a passion to our football program that really gets everybody excited. And a lot of times when he's able to get in front of them and give that message, they're more likely to want to be a part of what we're trying to accomplish.
Kirby only has so much time, I imagine, between juggling recruiting and his team and his family time. How do you balance that with knowing that you also want him to help you all and meet with donors to get these donations?
Well, we're very respectful of his time, for sure, and obviously he's a very strong personality, so when he's got something he needs to do, and instead of being with us, he's going to let us know for sure. But I think the bottom line is we've been very respectful of his time and put it to good use, so he trusts what we're going to do, and more times than not, he's going to be available when we ask him to.
You told the athletic board in the spring at the board meeting that you hear chatter that you all don't care about, or that you all care more about McGill Society folks than and Silver Circle folks than you do Hartman Fund donors. How much on mind is that for you, while you need to cater to and service the high-end donors? You don't want to alienate the larger fan base.
There is no question, and that's something we focus on a lot. We've got a donor base of 16,000 plus, and every one of those individuals is important to us, and they're providing a donation to us, and we want to make them feel like they're a part of the Georgia family. At the same time, inherently, when you've got some of those McGill members and Silver Circle members that are giving us 6 or 7 figures over a 5-year period, they're very important to us as well. So we've got to spend some time trying to make sure we cultivate and steward those gifts. But the bottom line is we've got to make sure everybody feels good about what we're doing. And even though we can't build a relationship with everybody that is in our season ticket base and donor base, we do our best to communicate well. Obviously, the fan experience is a very important way they can feel like they're being treated well. So we try to improve that on an annual basis. That's one of Greg's main focuses, and Josh Brooks does a great job of working at that as well. And then I think one of the ways we reward longevity really is when you start talking about the ability to renew season tickets. And nobody's coming in, no matter how much somebody writes a check to the McGill Society for, and displacing somebody in Sanford Stadium. So that loyalty and that longevity is rewarded by being able to renew that ticket. I think one of the ways that has really been seen recently is there was an article in the last week or so that showed the secondary market price for tickets in college football, and University of Georgia was the highest on that list by I think almost 50%. And so you look at the cost of those tickets on the secondary market being the highest in the country, yet if you look at the cost of those tickets that the University of Georgia is charging for them at roughly $75 a ticket, it's not the highest in the country. And so I think that's a way that we're really taking care of and trying to accommodate those loyal, long-time donors.
That's based on attractive home schedule with Notre Dame and Texas A&M. I mean, it might not necessarily be the same for 2020.
You could say that. I don't think that we know that for sure.
Right.
I think even if we aren't the top in the country in the future, I still think the product on the field is one of the best in the country, and will always warrant a top-end price on the secondary market. And we're staying pretty consistent with our ticket prices, and when it does go up, it's a very moderate amount.
Last question. What can you say about the football operations center that's I imagine will be discussed publicly at the next board meeting in terms of, I'm sure you've already kind of zeroed in on some fundraising efforts for that with some of your off-season events with your donors. How will that be added to the work you've already done in terms of the focus that you all have on that?
Well, I think is when Coach Smart came in, we had some needs facility-wise, and it was a way to practice, and we improved that by adding the indoor facility. Recruiting and game day functions were improved in the West End Zone. I think the last piece of that puzzle is everyday operations, and Butts-Mehre expansion is going to accomplish that. We're trying to get this done as quickly as possible, but there's a lot of things that have to go on to make this a reality. And I think, like you said, we'll see that in the next few months.
Rodney Broach, age 64, graduate of UGA. Grew up in Winder, now live in Statham. I'm a certified public accountant in Winder, Georgia. Started buying season tickets in 1981 when the East End Zone was expanded. Started buying season tickets then and have purchased them every year since. So this is my 39th season. Well, it's gone from where we originally started in 1981. It was like $50 per seat. It's now $375 per seat. I've, over the years, given over the minimum a few times to try to get a few more points to jump ahead of some of the folks who are just giving the minimum every year. But by and large, I pretty much stayed with the minimum, but a few times over.
So what were some of the reasons to stop giving over the minimum? I know McGill Society is going to be about 4 years old this September. Did you feel like it wasn't beneficial? You weren't necessarily getting ahead by giving more money?
The ability to get away game tickets was, I didn't see the benefit of it because the issue with being more donor funds ahead of some other people was getting the ability to buy away game tickets. But with the few tickets that the opposing teams allot Georgia, and with my level, I couldn't see that it was beneficial to continue to give more.
As a Georgia fan, obviously there's facility changes going on all around that benefit football, including the West End Zone over here. It has $63 million, has a new locker room, new scoreboard, new recruiting lounge. McGill Society donors raised a lot of that money. What are your thoughts on what the McGill Society has meant for athletics, and how has it affected you at all in terms of being a Georgia fan?
Well, I think it's positively impacted the university overall and the athletic association, and the improvements that have occurred in the stadium the last few years, and other improvements in other areas. How has it affected me? Probably none. You know, it doesn't. It hasn't, since it started 4 years ago. It hasn't really changed what my contribution level and my points get.
Do you think that the Athletic Association is focused more on McGill Society folks than Hartman Fund folks? Do you feel like there's a sense from some of your friends that you might know that are Georgia fans that they feel like the rank and file fan maybe kind of getting not squeezed out, but taken for granted?
Yes, I do feel that way a little. It seems like the average fan, the standard fan, the parking issue, the Athletic Association has taken over more and more parking lots and pushed the average folks further and further out. It's a little bit more difficult to tailgate now. They still do some things for the Hartman donors. They had a day where you could visit the new locker room last year, but it was sort of inconvenient because it was at a time where it's hard to get here. And of course they've changed the picture day around, but sometimes I guess the issue with game day, parking, that's when I, as a regular fan, feel a little bit underappreciated.
Kirby Smart has been very engaged with McGill Society folks in terms of whether it's private dinners or talking to them on signing day or the night before signing day. They ask him to fundraise a lot. Meanwhile, the program's doing well. It's 2 back-to-back SEC championship games. What's it like to be a Georgia fan now with Kirby as the head coach? You know, it hadn't been this way. You know, Mark Richt had some highs, 2002, 2003, 2005, 11 and 12. But Georgia played for a national championship a couple years ago. You know, what's it like to see the program at this level now?
It's exciting times. I mean, I as a season ticket holder, I'm very, very pleased with the direction of the program. With Coach Smart, I think he's a wonderful coach. I'm amazed that his time he spends engaged in recruiting allows him any other time. You know, so I understand he has to pick and choose his time, and access to coaches and players has never been one of my issues as a regular fan. My game day issues are the ones that I feel most strongly about.